standing down to that first day, and he sits down and going out like a criminal. This is taking our citizens.
We're at the state of the city dress. That's not going to happen tonight. Sorry, he's much better than I am.
So he holds an annual Angel Awards. Now the awards are what honor certain individuals, usually 2-3 individuals in the community. The program tells about the services First Day's been providing, shares stories of successes of individuals who have benefited from being at First Day and getting their services, and then recognizes something special that a particular individual did. So even if you're not an award winner, you hear about the good things, you hear the stories, and it gives you hope and makes you more supportive, and you'll continue your help for First Day.
Whittier First Day is a homeless shelter that started out actually years ago with the Social Services Coalition, which helped people who weren't homeless to get social services and referrals. And then the One Stop Center, which is a separate organization, started in 1999. And their purpose was to have like a cold weather shelter all year round. Well, they applied to open up here in 1999, but they hit a thing called NIMBY, like not in my backyard. That's where people become very, very fearful of the homeless, and they really don't want the homeless there for becomes almost non-rational reasons. They just have a visceral reaction to, we don't want that. We met at City Council and we found out that half of the constituency really opposed this. They didn't want the homeless, they didn't want this place.
Originally, PIH Health was opposed to the homeless shelter. Many of all of the clients, if they needed health care, went to the emergency room. And the number of visits were quite high, and it cost PIH Health, the hospital, quite a bit of money. Emergency care is the most expensive care that you can provide, and many times the reason they were there was not truly emergency, but they had a health problem and they had no other place to go.
They were completely opposed to us opening up before. They really even sent a letter to City Council, said don't let us open because what was going to happen, we were going to increase their ER and their expenses, and so they're very concerned about that.
One of the big complaints was, oh, it will attract homeless from all over the country. They'll beat a path to Whittier.
Everybody has this image of a drop-in shelter where you get a meal and then you got to leave. You sleep overnight and then you got to leave. And of course you come back for the next night or the next meal or the next shower, and in the meantime you hang around on the street.
And of course all of that was based on their own thoughts, and in fact there's no reality to it. And the business people said, well, you'll have so many homeless around, they'll discourage our customers to come in to Uptown. And of course people use the issue of increased crime. The police department said we'd get more calls, we would have to have more manpower.
One person came up at City Council, said that we have a historic walnut tree here in Whittier, and she opposed it because he said the homeless may walk over the roots of the tree and kill the tree. I mean, it was completely irrational, but I understand it because it was this visceral reaction out of fear. And part of it is how do you get through that fear in the community. It took from October of '99 to November of 2001 to get through the whole political process between the people that opposed it in the community. Once we opened, 2 months later, we merged those two corporations into one, which is called Whittier Area's First Day Coalition. Now, what we have here is a 45-bed housing. It is a bridge housing where we bring people in for about 6 months. Anyone can come up from 8 a.m. in the morning until 12 noon, can see a counselor, can do referrals, can use our banking, and all kinds of services that we have for the social service portion of it. We also have the homeless shelter, which I spoke about, and that has the 45 people, individual, single, and attached adults homeless. And besides that, what we're able to do is open up a clinic. And with the help of PIH, that PIH Health, which is our hospital nearby, we opened up a health and wellness center. And with that health and wellness center, we have been able to provide primary access to health care to the homeless and the chronically homeless in Whittier, and also be able to take people from the hospital bed into our shelter.
This is where the homeless, any homeless can come in to ask for services. We have a nurses health and wellness center for the homeless. They can come in and be checked out if they have a problem. Basically up here is where they start to fill their paperwork out if they want to become a resident or get other services too. We have a lot of services here besides the homeless that need a residence. And we have outside housing they work with. And they come in and they sign their name and talk to Miriam, our lady that works up here, and she figures out what they need, and she tries to do the best we can for them. Okay, we have rules and things for the homeless because this is trying to keep them on track to get their lives back together. This is our non-smoking area. They have a little TV here that starts at 3 o'clock and has to be turned off at 9 o'clock. We have exercise equipment for people that want to get fit. This is a little sitting area here for people to relax in the sun. And then we have the smoking patio. Okay, this is the entranceway to the shelter. That way is the men's dorm. We can't go in there, but they all have their own privacy in their own place. Let's go through the computer room now. They have computers here for the residents. They're for getting work and for research and school. They're not allowed to go on any of the other kind of sites. And then we have a job board here. People find out staffing in different places, and they can look for work. Because this is a program that helps the homeless get back on their feet, and hopefully has enough time to save enough money to be able to take care of themselves.
We designed this a little bit differently than a normal shelter. I'd worked downtown in Skid Row for 5 years, and there was a lot that I saw that I thought could be done differently. So what we did is we asked if the residents would like to volunteer. So what they did is they formed a group called First Day Angels, and they go out and they volunteer for the police department, for the business community, for all the people that had been opposed to us, and actually gave service all throughout the community. With that, we were able to use as a framework to be able to develop a new kind of model for our local community. With a philosophy we set up called the reciprocal individual and community engagement. It's reciprocal in which there's a giving back and forth between the individual and the group or the community, and that they are engaged. And to be engaged means to really intimately get to know another person. That was the one strategic thing, like I said, is getting out of self and being of service to others. It was absolutely critical in breaking down barriers with people individually. Almost everybody that opposed us is now really not only tolerant of it, but I mean really supportive of it.
That's what really attracts me to First Day. The First Day model is not a service delivery model. It is a model of providing a space where the residents work on recovery from homelessness, on their reintegration into the broader community. You meet with Paula Sheridan and the project that she and her class and the First Day residents have been doing on compiling their life histories. You will see another really strong example of that reciprocal community engagement
between the students and the first day residents. There was also an earlier project that my colleague Rafael Chabran from the Spanish department was involved with, I think with Paula, where they did a community garden in collaboration between Whittier students and first day residents. I have been involved with that. A number of colleagues have been involved in that and really running with it.
Originally, before first day, I've worked at the department for almost 22 years. And when I used to work patrol, and I remember dealing with the homeless and getting calls for service regarding the homeless, there was really no one to send them to or seek help from. Because of the increase in the homeless, we do get probably several calls a day. And with First Day coming to the city years ago, we were able to build a relationship. Really, it's through communication and trust, with an understanding that the mission is really one of compassion. We brought in the Department of Mental Health, and they actually provided training to all our officers, and it was specifically tailored for patrol officers in dealing with the homeless and mentally ill. It enabled our officers to have a different perspective and outlook on how to deal with the homeless in a long-term basis versus a simply enforcement arm. And when the officers realize that they can get help for them, they can possibly get them off the street permanently, get them the medication they need, or any psychiatric help they need, that's a long-term solution. And for them, that means they no longer have to respond on those type of calls. They don't have to respond on those specific homeless people, and they can focus their time on other public safety issues within the community.
What about the clinic at Whittier First Day?
They have clinical help, their clinical assistant to help the nurse. In fact, this clinical assistant is a former resident at First Day and had taken the medical assisting program at the Regional Occupational Center and was trained and then was hired. So she and the nurse work very well together, because if a medical assistant knows some of the tricks the homeless play and what they're concerned about, and the nurse and she work very close together and been very, very successful in providing everyday care. And the results have always been fantastic. The hospital's probably saved $1 million, and because there's less use of the emergency room. So in fact, we spent a little bit of money and in the end saved a lot of money.
Because of this reciprocal arrangement, we are asked to have a float in the parade, and we march in the parade.
We've been in there the last 5 years, I think, and so we're part of the community.
And part of the thing was to be able to change the culture in Whittier, to go from NIMBY to YIMBY, yes in my backyard. So we're very proud of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 52nd Annual Whittier Uptown Christmas Parade.
As well as my dad, who served in World War II, and he would Burton Middle School, marching band, drill team, the Whittier Area First Day Coalition, under the leadership of past President Virginia Ball and Executive Director Ted Knoll. The First Day Coalition provides social services and emergency housing for Whittier homeless and at-risk individuals. Merry Christmas! Virginia, Merry Christmas!
Oh, Virginia Ball! Virginia!
Those of us from First Day Coalition, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And look who's playing the piano up there!
Ernie Hernandez, how are you doing?